Hello again. So the topic of this video is very interesting archaeological evidence that corroborates or supports the history found in the Bible. And this is always interesting to me to find different facts that do this. Now, when I was young, I remember we would sing as youth. We'd sometimes when we were just singing on like camp or whatnot, we'd sing a song called "Old Time Religion," and one of the lines in that was, "If it's good enough for Grandpa, it's good enough for me." And that was fun to sing, but I really didn't particularly believe that. I mean, you know, I didn't think about it too much, but if I was to think about it, I would have thought, well, I want to know for myself. I don't really care what Grandpa believed. In fact, I really don't know what my grandparents believed. My grandmother was a Southern Baptist, so I have a sense of what she believed. Because Southern Baptists have tended, for longer than many other denominations, hold on to a biblical faith. But it's being corroded as well. Everything's being corroded. But anyway, so I was basically raised, especially as I got more into learning about the Bible, because I just went to church all the time. And I just watched, participated in Sunday school and whatever the material they put out, it was just an exercise. It wasn't like I was trying to, I really want to learn about this stuff. It was just there for me. It was around me. But as I got on into my young adulthood, then it's clear that the things that, as I remember anything, we were in my denomination, which was United Methodist. There was a large influence of biblical minimalism. And even in recent decades, well, no, I shouldn't even say even, long ago, but particularly in recent decades, materials used to teach Sunday school or Bible study, etc., I found, subtly subvert the validity of the history and the worldview that is found in the Bible. It's like if you want to be a professor, as it is, and so for so many disciplines, if you want to be a professor, it's better to come up with some cockeyed idea that you want to argue about. I remember there was one professor who we did Bible studies with, or studies with his books. And the Old Testament is God is a God of war, as if He's a totally different God of any other God, just like Mars or something like that, right? And anyway, that was his opinion, but unfortunately, people listened to it and went, "Oh yeah, man, that sounds cool." So what you have proposed are false narratives or wrong assumptions that there was some kind of conflict between real history, between mythology, and there was a conflict between real history and between science and what you found in the Bible. And I just coincidentally this morning I was listening to Ed Young, and he in one of his sermons he made a point that, look, you know, people make a big deal about all kind of conflicts that don't even exist between the Bible and science. There's all kind of things that aren't even mentioned in the Bible, that people try to somehow say, well, this is the way we see things and we don't think it works. Well, that's just making it up. Here we are, Big Bang Theory. You believe in a Big Bang? Well, there's been a lot of questions about the Big Bang here recently with some of the science that's been done. But regardless, so there's Big Bang. Does that mean there's not a creator who created the Big Bang? We just don't know. It's not in the Bible. No, the question is just whether do you believe in there's a creator or not, regardless of who the creator is. So anyway, that's an aside. I'm just trying to make a point that there's conflicts made or brought up as if they're conflicts between science and the biblical record that aren't really have no validity. So now, I've never been to Germany. I've never been to France or Russia or China. I'd love to go there. But what's nice is I can sit right here in my home and I can watch videos like you're watching this video, or hopefully we'll watch the video I'm presenting to you today. Um, I can watch these things and I can learn all kind of stuff about all kind of history and all kind of subjects, all kind of archaeology and geology and etc. And I don't have to read a 400-page book. There's just a lot of things that you can very easily read, and if you hear something that's interesting to you, you can delve into it deeper. But there's all kind of information that just is quite new, or maybe it's not new, but it's presented in a new way, or it's as this video does, it's giving you new information about something that people might have assumed 100 years ago, right, or 200 years ago, whatever. So, so I've never been to any of these countries, and I've never been to. Some of you might have been to Israel. You might have been to Egypt. You might have been to Iraq. You might have been to. Some of you might have been to visit Jordan or Greece or Britain. You might have gone to Rome. You might have gone to some of these historical sites. In fact, the Arch of I don't want. It's not Adrian. Arch of Titus, I think it is what I have on the screen for this podcast. That's in Rome. That's an arch. If you'll watch the video, you'll learn for yourself. But it's an arch that records the destruction of Jerusalem. Okay, so why would Rome record the destruction of Jerusalem? Right. So this is the kind of thing that just says these things were real things. Right. There's other information that goes much further back than that. But anyway, you might have been to some of those places and gone to museums or gone actually to the actual sites and seen for yourself these things that are sitting right there in the ground that you had no idea about. But they support what is in the Bible. So the video I've included in this podcast, the description offers multiple impressive materials that are offered by antagonistic sources that they're not trying to support the whole Jewish idea of a world or history, but they're there, and they inadvertently support what you will find printed in your Bible. So an example of this is that you'll find, and I'm just touching on it. You can watch the video, find out more yourself, but there's an example is that there's evidence that the Egyptians were speaking of the Israelites 3,200 years ago. Now, 3,200 years ago is long before Christ. It's long before the Syrians attacked Jerusalem. It's long before the Babylonians attacked Jerusalem. Okay? So, these Israelites existed. Oh, really? It's not just something that was made up once the Jews got exiled to Babylon and started making up a fake history. Okay, that's what a lot of people think. So that's why this is important, that you know that, hey, this stuff in your Bible isn't a pile of bunk that's just made up by some people. So I urge you to watch the video and see how modern archaeology, how it's found in extra-biblical sources, and how it supports the stories recorded in the Bible. Now, lastly, I just want to mention to you that you might be interested to know that there are no corroborating evidences, no extra Quran materials, that is, sources that exist outside of the Quran or outside of other Islamic writings that have all been written, since around 200 or 400 or whatever, anyway, 100, 200 years after the supposedly beginning of Muhammad, etc. And but they don't exist. There's no source that shows you that there's maps that show no Mecca. That should be there if it was such an important thing happening in the era that it's claimed to be happening. There's a Dr. J. Smith who I think has done some great work, him and other people like him, who point to looks very probable that the ideas of Islam actually probably came out of some of the some of the elements, the site elements, actually came probably out of Petra. But anyway, that's a whole nother video, and I have talked about it in other videos. So the Bible has all this extra biblical sources that proves it. Other religions, like Islam, doesn't. If you're watching this, you're probably not Islamic anyway. But it's just to let you know that if you are a Christian, you're holding on to a pretty biblically, historically based faith that has the people, the things that happened in places that were real, and not just something that was made up later on. Anyway, I'm always looking for the truth. I hope you'll look for the truth if you're not. And if you are, then as I say in most of my videos, pray to God that you want to know the truth and nothing but the truth, and I'm very confident He'll show it to you. Have a good day.